myself at 18 years old weighing 300 pounds. One day I said, I'm going to do something about it. Lost over 100 pounds. That's how I discovered hemp. When I learned that the seed was just such a great source of essential fats and protein, I thought I could carry that message and grew hemp food products to a $100 million business over 20 years. And then we sold the business for a $419 million transaction.
Truth is, I was broke. I was willing to do whatever. There was 10,000 people every month searching for cricket protein. And what I told my eventual co-founder, and he's like, dude, have you seen weighted blankets? There's 300,000 people searching. We literally got one sample, launched my site, 30K our first month, 90K, 150K, and we got a business.
We wrote down one night, 7 hours straight, just brainstorming ideas to change our lives. We write down a 4-way volleyball net. We've never played volleyball a day in our lives. They got 2 badminton nets, rigged out the center, told all my friends like, yo, come over. And we played for 4 hours. It was just us feeling like kids again, and that was proof of concept. One day, a viral video, everything sold out overnight, $2 million in the next couple months, and then the business skyrockets.
Chris and I came together and decided to launch the Founders Club, what we think is going to be the future of community for founders. Founders need community, they need to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, they need to be inspired. We want to do that.
It's the actual face-to-face conversation in real life. We are so connected, but also so disconnected.
I'm very much just figuring it out as I go, and I don't plan on ever really figuring it out. I just plan on keep figuring out the next thing and the next thing.
Don't fulfill your mission. What's your passion? What's your purpose? Why are you here? Keep focused on that. That's the number one thing that we can all do.
If you went back to when you're 20 years old, what would you tell yourself?
Read. I probably accelerated my career, my relationships, everything, because I started diving into people that were way more successful than me. If I would have done that earlier, then imagine. I'm Manning Sumner. I've lived my life by one motto: no days off. No days off is never taking a day off on you. It's a commitment to becoming your best self. Get ready to be inspired to do the same. This is the Big Dawgs with Manning Sumner. Fellas, so I said to myself, like, you know, you can't have the Big Dawgs podcast without the Big Dogs showing up. So I appreciate you guys showing up. I want to just start with like y'all going around, just kind of giving a little description of yourself. You can go as long as you want to and give as much detail as you want to, but we'll start with you, Aaron.
Mike's got to kick it off. Manitoba's Mike got to kick it off.
All right, that's fine.
You get the old guys first. Yeah, my name is Mike Fata. I'm a Canadian from Manitoba. That's why I'm Manitoba Mike. And I've been an entrepreneur for 27 years. My claim to fame was pioneering hemp foods. Back in 1998, we got hemp legal in Canada and grew hemp hearts and hemp oil and protein hemp food products to a $100 million business over 20 years, selling it in Canada, the US, and 20 countries globally. And we sold the business in 2019 for a $419 million transaction. And then over the last 5 years, I've been an investor, advisor, coach, and helping other entrepreneurs scale their businesses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Manitoba
That's
Mike.
a big dog.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's a big dog.
That's the founder.
I'm Chris Meade. I am the co-founder of Crossnet, the world's first 4-way volleyball game. Literally invented the sport 7 years ago. Grew up on a farm in Connecticut, had about $2,000 to my name and said I just wanted to change my life. So moved down to Miami before it was cool, and
What year was that?
that was 2017.
Oh, wow.
It was, it was much
We were
different.
still cool then.
It was less cool. It was less cool.
All right.
Chris wasn't in it yet.
The New Yorkers weren't here yet.
Well, you're here now, so
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's
I'm good.
ultra cool.
It's good. So, invented a 4-way volleyball net, got it on ESPN, sell it in nearly 7,500 stores, 53 countries and 1 million players, and now building the world's best Founders Club community.
Amazing.
Also Canadian. My name is Aaron Spivak, and born and raised in Toronto. Recently moved to Miami because now it's cool. Chris is here. And in 2017, I came across a stat that 1 in 4 Americans were suffering from stress and anxiety, and even more from insomnia, which opened up the world of weighted therapy. So I launched a weighted blanket in 2018, which was a year later. Ended up being the world's most purchased weighted blanket in 16 countries. We did a Kickstarter. It was a top 10 Canadian Kickstarter of all time. We raised $1.5 million in 30 days. Famously known for taking $4,000 of DJ money and flipping it into a $48 million a year business. And then in 2021, we sold the company to the largest sleep company in the country. And along that journey, I realized how lonely and deserted island it feels like to be an entrepreneur. And just about a year ago, Chris and I came together and decided to launch the Founders Club, which we had an incredible event here last night.
Definitely.
And what we think is going to be the future of community for founders. And founders need community. They need to be surrounded by like-minded individuals. They need to be inspired. They need to be supported. And we want to do that.
Love it. Love it. Go back to Mike. I just want to hear like a little bit more about your story because I'm fascinated by it. And again, you're the OG of the group.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the same age, but you're still the OG because you sold your company for $400 million. That makes you the OG.
Yeah. I forgot the most important part of my intro, really, and whatever, spaced out a little bit, but. I grew up and I was uneducated about health, and I fell prey to fast food, and I found myself at 18 years old weighing 300 pounds and was literally sick and tired all the time, and miserable in life. And one day I said, I'm going to do something about it. And that's what started my health journey. And so I went from, I'd say the show, The Biggest Loser, the first day in the gym, crying, tears and everything. And my brother was helping me out and lost over 100 pounds, but got super interested in health and nutrition and diet and started studying and researching. And that's how I discovered hemp. And I just fell in love with hemp. I used to think hemp was cool. Like I had a hemp bracelet when I was a teenager. I thought like hemp was trending and cool. But when I learned that the seed was just such a great source of essential fats and protein, I thought I could carry that message, and things were going to change from the no-fat diet, which they were in the mid-1990s, to the right-fat diet. And we just played on that thesis and started with one farmer growing hemp seed for us, one health food store, and slowly but surely, like organically grew it.
Amazing. What was like the main product that y'all were?
Hemp Hearts is the is the flagship product, which is the heart of the hemp seed, the soft inner kernel of the seed.
Okay.
We had a range of other products: hemp oil, hemp protein powders, non-dairy hemp milk beverage, but Hemp Hearts was like 75% of the business.
Gentlemen, same. Aaron, for you, first of all, genius on the hush blanket. But when was, I know you said there was you were seeing a lot of anxiety and stuff like that, but like when was the light bulb moment where you actually knew that that's what you wanted to do? And
yeah, the truth is I was broke, so I was willing to do whatever.
Right.
I didn't want to be broke anymore. And I think for us it was, you can see on Google like how often people search for things. It's like public data. And the truth is, I actually don't talk about this often, is I was gonna sell grinded up crickets, like as a protein source, like protein powder as the crickets, like disgusting. And I went to a cricket farm and it was like, the guy's like, here, try one. Like it was like live. He was like eating them like crackers. And I was like, But my thesis was, there was 10,000 people every month searching for cricket protein. And I was like, wow, I can sell to them. And what I told my eventual co-founder in Hush, I was like, we got to sell cricket protein. There's 10,000 people searching. And he's like, dude, have you seen weighted blankets? There's 300,000 people searching and only 2 people selling it. And they were selling just a god-awful product. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. It's like, wait a second, I can make a kick-ass weighted blanket. And we literally got one sample, paid $120 a DHL, ship it overnight. Took a terrible photo on an old iPhone, launched my site, bought the top spot on Google for $45 because it was not that many competitors. Made 1 sale, made 3 sales, $30K our first month, $60K, $90K, $150K. And next thing you know, you're like, we got a business.
Wow.
And I feel like it's one of those things that you just got to do it. I could have pondered on it for a long time, but it just started clicking. People wanted a solution to a terrible sleep. And as we know now, like a few years later, we all know how important sleep is. Back in 2017, like I think it was Matthew Walker just came out with that book around sleep. Like it was really, like he just went on Rogan for the first time to be like, if you have 1 less hour of sleep can shave off 10 years of your life. Like that was just coming out. Now there's so much information. There's the Oura rings, the Whoops. There's so much around sleep.
Right.
But back then, people just didn't know what it was, but they knew what it felt like to have a shitty sleep. And I remember like we would get reviews from people saying, I got an extra 7 minutes of sleep. I would call them and be like, that's crazy. How do you know 7 minutes? They're like, well, I only sleep 10 minutes a day.
Wait,
so
what?
now I can get 17 minutes. And I was like, what? People don't sleep. People really don't sleep. So it was for us, it was to solve a problem.
Wow.
it was motivating for us to keep going and keep developing new sleep products because for us, we sleep all pretty good, and if you have one bad night, whatever, but like the feeling of not being able to sleep is catastrophic for people. And it's unfortunate, but a tremendous amount of the population literally doesn't get more than 1 or 2 hours a night of sleep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then the stats around shift workers are like 10x that.
Oh, yeah.
Shift workers really just
It's because their
zombies.
circadian rhythm is completely off, right? I mean, that probably has something to do with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They totally mess it up.
It's horrible, right? And there's like stats around like shaving off 20 years of their life expectancy. So like for us, it was really just about like, wow, we're actually changing lives through this product. And like, to be honest, when we launched it, we thought we would basically just send hugs in a box. That's what it was. Like we were sending you a deep touch pressure stimulation. It was mimicking a hug, but it turned into like, oh my God, we're changing lives. And that's when, we started to catapult.
Did you do it? Is there any like science, like data backing, like the blank?
Yeah, deep touch pressure stimulation it's over 110 years old, the statistics. Like in World War II, if soldiers would panic, they would layer blankets on them and like put weights on them. And like it's a known thing to calm someone down, like thunder blankets or so many variations of a hug. It's really what it is. If someone gives you a tight hug, your body naturally reduces cortisol and increases serotonin and melatonin.
Yeah,
Isn't that a 20-second hug? Y'all heard about that?
Right? Yeah, and that starts at childbirth, right? Like you swaddle a baby because they're used to being tight in the womb. You want to calm someone down, like
you bring them in. If someone's having a panic attack, what do? You grab them.
Right.
Right? Why? Because it creates a layer of safety. So it's the same thing. And like I remember, I forget the exact stat, so I'm not going to use numbers, but I remember reading a stat when we were shooting our Kickstarter in LA. People have panic attacks in their sleep. Yeah. It's a significant amount of people have panic attacks in their sleep, and a lot of people sleep alone. So to like have the blanket there, like a 15, 20 pound blanket to be on you, and you can kind of like roll yourself in it even more to like tighten it is a lifesaver when you're having a panic attack or like you're just anxious about life in general. So that was like, we were kind of the first to come out with that, but the science was always there. It just manifested in like so many different ways. I remember when I got my appendix out, I was tripping because I hate surgeries and stuff like that. I was tripping out and I hate needles. Mike knows this. I hate needles, right? This guy's like, all right. He's like, squirting it in the air. I'm like, buddy, what are you doing? Relax, But I remember.
So you don't get a lot of IVs then?
I know I'm good with the IVs.
Oh, yeah?
I'm good with the IVs.
Going in. He doesn't like blood going out.
You give me a blood test, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, it's not happening. I tell her right away. I said, I'm telling you, I'm going to pass out. She's like, you can't. I'm like, I'm going to pass out. Just be ready for it, So I like lay down because I know it's good night, 100%.
Every time?
After the fourth tube. I can get to the fourth tube, but you go 6 to 8, good night, Jim Kite. It's over for me. But bottom line is people would, they would have the panic attacks and we would ultimately be there for them. And like, I guess it was a huge motivation for us to like really like attach a mission to what we were doing that was beyond just the sales.
Yeah. And it probably impacted why you were so successful too.
Yeah. And it defined our brand. Like we launched sheets and we didn't just like, I always say we're not sexy bedding. We were never sexy bedding. We were functional bedding. Our sheets, soft, yeah, all that stuff, great. But they kept you cold. That was the whole point. So you're a hot sleeper. Everyone knows what it's like to wake up in a pool of sweat. Mike had it last night because he turned off the AC. But
and we had a steak at 11:30.
Oh yeah, Mike had the meat sweats.
The steak sweats? Oh
yeah,
those could be bad.
Right? Yeah. And he knows what it's like, but it's the worst feeling because you feel like you pissed the bed.
So Hush has sheets?
So our best-selling product is actually our cooling sheets.
Oh, okay.
But I was on the back of customers. We were like, yo, we're going to make something. What do you want? They're like, well, you know what? Menopausal woman, whatever, night sweats, my husband's a furnace, so many excuses, in the bed. Great, we'll get you cooling sheets, naturally cooling sheets, that feel like the other side of the pillow all night long. Boom. Business explodes. We launched a mattress. You know how many mattresses are out there? You guys all know. What do we do? Same thing. Went back to the customer. The customer was like, we wanted cooling. We wanted extremely clean because there's a lot of like nasty chemicals. Made a clean bed. And then a lot of people wanted away from the foam because the foam actually absorbs energy. So our demographic was 45 plus. 45 plus, I don't know what kind of podcast this is, but they're really concerned about performance in the bed. When you have memory foam in your bed, it absorbs the performance. There's no give back. So it's actually doesn't help you. So they're really concerned about the coil count.
You can't be bouncing on the foam mattress. Yeah.
It's not. You don't want it.
Wait, for the man or the woman?
For both, there's no bounce.
Depends who's creating the motion.
I was about to say,
maybe you're both creating the motion.
So we come out, we say, hey, we got a 2,400 coil mattress, all
so you
individually
created
wrapped.
a bouncy bed for sex for old people?
And it was clean, and it had no fire retardant in it, so there was no toxic chemicals.
No
It was
wonder
not
you were
sprayed.
successful.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
So
it's like
we
the founder of Viagra. Like, God bless.
and it was all based on what the customer wanted.
Yeah.
They said we wanted a pillow.
That's
this.
the secret to success.
That's
The
the
real
secret
secret
sauce.
Right.
is
Listen to your
I
customer.
would call 2,000 customers a month.
You would call 2,000.
I would call on the phone. You don't know a single person that's done that. Even now, even every single gym member. I mean, you're here, so it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
But I call every single person every single month. Even within the club, the amount of conversations we have every single day with members to get to know the pulse. What do you need? What could we be doing better? Over and over again, because it involves them in the process. It was a horrible coffee shop by my old place in Toronto. Terrible coffee shop. But it was on the way to work, and I would just go to him all the time. And I would say, I gotta go make another stop and get an avocado toast. I was on that wave, like there was a moment. And I said, you make the avocado toast, and I'll just buy it from you. Save me the 10 minutes. And lo and behold, this guy show up. He's got avocado toast on the menu. I ordered it. It was terrible. It was awful. It was frozen. It was the worst avocado toast ever. But I bought it. And not only did I buy it, I started telling my friends to come. Eventually, I started to make it pretty good. Why? Because I felt like I had a say. So when a customer comes to you and says, Manny, you should have this machine in here. And they come back and the machine shows up, they had a say.
Right,
Wow, Manny,
right.
listen to me. That's a dope guy. We're
No,
friends.
100%.
We're friends.
100% agree with that.
And that's the difference. I guess my secret sauce is no one is willing to do what I was willing to do with our customers.
Excellent. Chris, I want to go back to you because you've told me your story, but I want you to tell everybody else your story because, it's just like I love the whole writing down process and that. So take us back to that
Yeah,
moment.
man, I wish I was trying to solve a problem. I was trying to solve my own problem at that point in my life. I was 24 and I was at a crossroads, dude. I was literally making just enough to get by. I could barely afford my rent in my apartment. And I was just thinking life was going to be pretty much shit for the rest of my life. I was really scared of that. And I grew up in a house. My dad died when I was 18, but I remember the first 18 years of my life. We'd sit down every night at the kitchen table and he'd tell me about all the things that he wishes he would have done.
Oh, wow.
All the ideas and all the businesses and all the things that he dreamed of doing, and he never did it. And every night we'd sit there he just had that regret and that guilt. And he'd always want us to do our stuff, of course, but I just saw him at 50 thinking about all the years that he wasted. Mm-hmm. So I was there at 24, and we came home one night. I got back to my house in Connecticut. I was living in New York in a small, random, I was living with 3 Craigslist strangers off of a breakup in the middle of Brooklyn. And I got home to Connecticut, and we wrote down one night, 7 hours straight, just brainstorming ideas to change our lives. It was my brother and our childhood best friend. Nothing to our name, but we just kept writing. 7 hours later, we write down a 4-way volleyball net because ESPN's on the background and there's volleyball. We've never played volleyball a day in our lives. Never played. I couldn't tell you the rules. I suck at it. I'm awful. But that night, we're like, holy shit, this could be it. And woke up the next morning, drove about 45 minutes to our local Walmart and got 2 badminton nets, rigged out the center, told all my friends, yo, come over. And we played for 4 hours. We just made up rules on the spot. There's 20 kids, all my high school friends, and we looked around 4 hours later. Nobody was complaining about their girlfriends. Nobody was bitching about work. It was just us feeling like kids again, and that was proof of concept. 2 weeks later, go to my boss. I quit my job. We liquidated our 401k. It's about $12,000 in a joint bank account, and we just buy some nets on Alibaba, and I just start selling them on the beach. And kind of like Aaron was talking about with the customers, I'd go to the beach every day for about a year straight. I had the best tan. I was so good. It was the sickest tan. But I'd go to the beach and I'd spend 8 hours a day on the beach. And I'd just beg you. I'd be like, Manning, come play. And I'd rip video content. I'd put it up on Facebook at night. And at the end of the day, you were going home with a net. Whether you liked it or not, you were buying the net. And that was my McDonald's money for the night. And that was going to get me to the next day. And 2 years of literally going to the beach every day. And I thought, this business sucks. What are we doing? And then one day, a viral video, $2 million in the next couple months, and then the business skyrockets.
What was the viral video?
Dude, crazy. We you get a lot of people asking for samples. You always just seed product, but our stuff's really heavy. So it costs $70 to ship to some far places.
Right.
So a random guy from Latvia, and I don't even know where Latvia is, He's like, yo, can you,
I don't know where Latvia.
I have no idea where it is at the time. Now I do. But he's like, yo, can you send it to me? I'm like, dude, that's like $350 to ship. I don't even have that. Like, can you pay for the shipping? I'll give you the game for free.
Yeah.
So I pay for the shipping. Nothing happens. And I always remember, man, I was on the right side of my bed. My now wife was on the left side. My phone starts going crazy. I look down, and there's this dude, random guy from Latvia, posted 9 million views on the video, hundreds of thousands of comments. I check my email. We had just started selling into Shields, which is like a Midwest sporting goods store.
Yeah.
And we flopped. The buyer would not email me back. I checked my phone. There's an email from him. I don't know what happened. Everything sold out overnight. Can we go nationwide?
What was the video though?
It was the sickest volleyball. It was 4 Latvian professional Olympic volleyball players playing the game at the highest level.
It was like a rally that was
I
just
remember that
on, yeah.
video.
It was the
now
sickest
I gotta
rally
see it.
It was a
ever.
rally
Oh,
that
it's
just
crazy.
went on and on and on and on and on.
Dude,
Like hundreds of millions?
We're still running the ad 7 years later. It's just like it's
It's sick. It was sick.
It's a
I
crazy
remember
video,
that video.
and yeah, man, that literally.
I love this.
A week later, Dick's Sporting Goods came inbound from that video. Then Walmart, and yeah, now we're selling everywhere, all because of this one guy.
To all my Latvians out there,
Latvia.
you know, if you need a case of water, let me know.
But yeah, man, that one thing, that one video changed our lives, and yeah, now we invented a sport. It took a lot of effort. Nobody was looking for a 4-way volleyball net. We were searching for a way to change our lives, and it's a fun sport.
Is it going to be in the LA Olympics or are we
maybe
there
one
yet?
day? We'll see. Hopefully.
Well, you had a U.S.
We had a
volleyball partnership, no?
Yeah, so we're an official partnership with USA Volleyball,
Yeah.
also Canadian Volleyball or Volleyball Canada.
Yeah, I see it all.
And
No, it's around.
Yeah,
I know when I drive in my neighborhood now and I see it up.
Volleyball
and they have,
Canada's
because
legit.
after
And
the
then we had
Costco run.
we had a big 30-minute special on ESPN, which was like, as somebody who invented a sport, your goal is to get your sport on ESPN, right? So we had a 30-minute tournament in San Diego. It was crazy. That was so much fun. Like ESPN reached out and wanted to air like 30 minutes of our game. Like absolutely.
That's cool.
So it was cool. It's good fun.
Amazing story. Amazing story. All right, so Mike, I want to talk to you about this LinkedIn situation.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued because, like, I don't know, I hate all social media and everything. So it's like, and LinkedIn's probably, I mean, Amber will tell you, I'm like, what is this thing? Like, I keep getting asked to be the CEO of other companies. Like, what is going on? You know, like, or be a personal trainer at freaking LA Fitness. I'm like, do y'all not look at my resume? Like, that's really the only experience I've had with LinkedIn is random job ideas. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had a training by one of the LinkedIn founders like 13 years ago, and he was after the training. He's like, hey, if you meet someone and you like them, just LinkedIn them. And I thought then, oh, that's how you store your business card. It's like a digital Rolodex, and that's all it was for me for like over a decade. And then 4 years ago, because I was never on social media before either, I didn't like it. And 4 years ago, the pandemic happened. Our biggest trade show got canceled, and I love trade shows. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to see my friends in the industry, new products, and what everyone's up to? And wait a sec, there's LinkedIn. And I went on LinkedIn, and sure enough, I could go and I started connecting with other founders in the natural products industry and CPG industry. But I started sharing just some of my thoughts, you know, and I quickly learned that LinkedIn as a platform is not only more business focused, but there's a shortage of people making content on LinkedIn. And so the organic reach potential. And over the last 4 years now, there's 50,000 people in my LinkedIn community. Every single one of the opportunities that I'm experiencing in life right now, all of my portfolio companies met them or grew the relationship on LinkedIn. Sitting here with Aaron, met Aaron on LinkedIn.
I met Aaron on LinkedIn. I was trying to get a free blanket. Yeah.
He's like, congrats on Forbes, bro. Here's my address.
at least you could do.
Send me one.
You know, I think there's lots of different platforms. Most of them are obviously more consumer facing. LinkedIn is like for business. I think any founder that's not on LinkedIn is missing. Why? Because people buy why you're doing what you're doing even more than what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. People buy many of like, why are you into health and fitness more so than why do you have these gyms, right? And being able to share that authentically, the inbound amount of opportunities just starts, and it could be a literal floodgate.
Mm-hmm. And then I want to I mean, some people obviously weren't here last night, but we heard a lot of like, and Aaron, you spoke about this. There was a lot of, I mean, controversy is a tough word, but differences in approaches when it comes to social media.
Absolutely.
From the volume game to the like, listen to my analytics game.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, what is y'all's
That was
opinion
a funny
on
one.
this?
That was good. That was good beef.
But that was perfect.
Yeah.
That was
No,
what
it
you
was.
want,
That's what
you
right?
want, yeah.
That's what you want, is you want to have the opposing opinions. And I think, I mean, one is you always have to test, right? Because I think they're both true for both of them.
Well, there's no right way.
There's no right way.
right way.
That's the challenge.
Otherwise,
That's
we'd all
the
do it.
challenge
Yeah.
and the opportunity with entrepreneurship and anything in general. There's no one right way.
Yeah,
Right.
but I find the times when you put the most effort into a post is the ones that always flop. And it's the one that you'd never think is
Every
going to
time.
work is the one that's going to pop.
You know, like when you spend like hours making your caption, like
Yeah.
you write
Yeah.
this.
It's
and
In that
Perfect.
moment, you know it's going to suck.
Yeah, it's
when you
perfect.
finish it though, you do have this sense of like I just wrote the baddest thing ever.
Yeah.
But then you say to yourself when you post it, nobody's gonna give a shit.
No,
So-
I don't give a shit. That's another concept too that like I had to really get comfortable with is, and I'm better now. I wouldn't say I'm even all the way there yet. Is really not giving a shit about what I post online. I used to like, hawk it and be like, oh my God, but I said this like last week. And I started to realize that like, not only do people not even remember what you posted 20 minutes ago, not only do they not give a shit because they're consuming 10,000 pieces of content a day, it just doesn't matter as much as you think it does. So getting over that hump is also a huge relief where you can just be your authentic self. And if you like it, if people like it, great. If they don't, great. And if they want to send some hate, great.
Right.
As long as you're you, then you're good.
Yeah, I saw a meme talking about it said what did it say? It said you're the only person that cares what you look like.
Yeah, no, right.
Sure,
Everyone
yeah.
else is
actually
worried
true.
about their own stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
100%.
And it really, I mean, to your point, it was like an eye opener even for me because we're all self-conscious. We all
Of course.
overthink it. And then, I mean, we're all in a little way, especially if you're really trying to do big things, we're kind of perfectionists. But imperfection is where you get paralyzed. Like you just get stuck. And so you gotta just do it.
It's all about the reps.
Right.
It's all
No
about
days
the
off.
reps.
No days
Exactly.
off.
No days off.
No
Yeah.
days off.
Yeah, you need the
That's
reps.
true.
The reps are very important. That's one
Exactly.
thing that like again, even with social with myself, it's like I've only really, I would say, gone like more all in the last 4 or 5 months, and even then, it's like I'm still like it's every time it's getting a little bit better. Like you can feel it out, and we actually have a member in our community, Amon and Beck.
Yeah.
And they're massive YouTubers, like huge YouTubers. And he came to one of our events and I said, so give me some sauce. Like you're a massive YouTuber, huge success. Like what do I do? What do I need to know? And he's like, this is all you need to know. The first 7 years, we didn't cross 100 views. That's what he said. 7 years, not over 100 views.
It's kind of like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan talks about it.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I did this thing for 5 years and nobody was listening.
No
Nobody.
one. Yeah. And I looked at it, I was like, not over 100, not over 100. We did it for ourselves. We did it with our mission. We didn't care whether people like looked at it or not. And a couple videos pop off. Next thing you know, they're getting hundreds of thousands of views every video they post. But people forget that it was 7 years of consistency without any viral moment. I feel like even myself, sometimes I get trapped with like, oh, I should have done better. I need more views. And it's like also understanding that number, that little like 2,000, 1,000 people. You know how many people? 2,000 people. Imagine you put 2,000 people here. This thing was crazy. 2,000 people.
Yeah.
My last Instagram
never-
post was 5,000 people. In my head, I'm like, oh, I wish it was 10. 5,000 people is insane.
And the crazy thing, I've learned this over like LinkedIn specifically because you have, I'll get 50, 100,000 views on posts. I'm like, is that really real? Because you get the people that engage, you see the people. When I started going out in the community back to like, especially industry trade shows and events, and the amount of people that come up and be like, hey, my God, I love your content. I read what you're doing, all the thought leadership. Oh, can we take a picture? All this kind of stuff,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you never engage with any of my stuff? No, because 90% of people just watch, but
They're watching.
the number's real.
Lurkers.
Like if you had an audience here, of 1,000 people, maybe like 50 of them would say something or ask a question or whatever, but everyone else would just want to be here and watch, right? And that's what's going on
That's a
too.
good
And
analogy,
and I don't think everyone thinks about that.
I have to tell you this, just speak a little life into you. You got the thing. All right?
All right.
So
Yeah.
you have the it. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing because
Thank you.
the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you look, everything. You've got it. So just keep going, man. Just keep going.
That's it. Nedrich, you got that?
Well, he's only got.
That's my clip. That's my clip.
Ned, where you at, man? He's like, I don't have my camera.
No, but I
I'm sorry.
appreciate that. I appreciate
We got
that.
plenty
Yeah.
of cameras. Look at all these cameras, like paparazzi.
You know, it's funny you say that because I had Jay, like one of our members, Jay came up to me yesterday and he goes, like you do really incredible like public speaking. I want to practice my public speaking. And I told him, in 2019, one of my goals, I was terrified of public speaking. And one of my goals was to become a good public speaker. He's like, what are the courses? And I actually just told him what Mike just said. I said yes to everything.
Yeah.
And I was scared shitless. I'll never forget Alibaba, me and him go on
yeah,
stage.
dude, that's crazy.
5,000
So many people there.
I've never even been on a screen. You can't see the mic, the light. You can't see the crowd. It's terrifying. You can't see the crowd. I'm like, who am I talking to?
You can't see the crowd.
You
Yeah,
can't
it's
see
so
the crowd
big,
when the
dude.
light's on you and
Yeah.
there's 4,000
Yeah.
people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And Damon Johns is right after us.
Damon John is coming
Right
up next.
after
We're
us.
opening.
Right.
And you sit there and you're like, I'm going to do it anyways, and you shiver a little bit. You got the shakes, you kind of whatever. Then you get into the flow and good or bad, you look at it after and you're like, boom, check, another rep. So like I was telling Jay, I'm like, this is almost 5 years of doing non-stop. This morning, I did a podcast. I did the virtual keynote for a university.
Okay.
Like you do the reps.
Right.
And you start to get really comfortable. And it's true, the reps with everything.
It's
kind of
everything.
annoying.
I mean, that's what I love about in fitness and everything else in life goes so well together because no one's going to come into the gym and expect one day they're going to come in and work out and be like, okay, nothing, no results, nothing, right? But like 6 months, pretty strong results. 3, 4, 5 years later, you know what happens? People say you're a natural. You got it's your genetics.
Right.
You got you're just doing this. No, you've just been doing reps over and over and over again. And like you could take and I'm one of the you could take an introvert and you could become extroverted just by going, this is what I'm gonna do. Like when I was 300 pounds overweight, I was the shyest kid. And then even when I got into the business and I had lost the weight, I started doing exercise like in front of the mirror going, hey, my name's Mike Fata, and put my hand out. As silly as that is, but like hundreds and hundreds of times until now, if I'm in a room or an audience, I want to meet everybody. I'm highly curious, but I feel really confident and comfortable about myself because of the amount of times that I've done it.
And you made yourself into that.
Yeah.
That's what I get like frustrated with people that are like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
I grew up like this. I'm introverted, all this. I'm not a morning person. Like everything we tell ourselves is what we're becoming.
You are the story that you repeatedly tell yourself.
Exactly.
So it's
100%.
like change the conversation you're having in your own head and become a different version of yourself.
I think that's the beauty in the community too. Like
Yeah.
what we're building is the people we're hanging out with every day are just trying to get better, and whether it's finance, whether it's going to the gym every day, or just being comfortable on a microphone like this, right? So
Right.
that's
You
the
also
beauty of
want
it.
the people around you to be able to tell you both the good and the bad. Like you said a really nice thing, that's great. But also like if I'm doing something wrong or if I did something wrong, you would also tell me.
Of course.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's the type of people you
Right.
want around you. Like maybe back on the public speaking, about a year and a half ago, I did that talk in San Diego. And the truth is, it was ass. I had a terrible week, and like my shit was all messed up. And I made a post. I said, "I'm not public speaking anymore." Like it was shit. Like I was just all over the place. And actually, Mike reached out to me, and he's like, why don't you like get like a coach and like
Might
actually
say, yeah, it was shit.
think about it?
Yeah, he was open to it, which
Yeah.
is the first part of getting better is not being the victim saying like I'm going to be bad, right? Like,
Yeah. No, I said, you know what? I've never taken the time and actually like systemized the way I speak. I just kind of like off the cuff, whatever. And I finally sat down and I like built a framework and I sent voice notes to people of my speech. I took it kind of seriously for a second. I changed my story. I said, you know what? I'm going to be a phenomenal public speaker, but it takes work. And it took 6 months off of speaking, came back for Ecom North, which was arguably my best speech ever, which was my comeback after 6 months. But it took like, first of all, the humility and the way to like accept feedback. Because it's not great, having people say, "Oh, that was ass."
Yeah.
But to be able to be like, you know what, it was, and let me change it. Instead of the new story, it could have been, you know what, public speaking is not for me, and then
Right.
that door shuts down.
And I think also too, I was talking about this earlier in the other podcast, was like fail often and fail fast. Because if you're
100%.
not trying and you're not failing, then you can't get better.
Yeah, I even like, and I'm there's the fail culture is real, and that's one way to capture it. I like to think about it's winning or learning. You know, every day we want to win. Some days
There's
we
no
learn.
losses. There's
There's
only
no
lessons.
you learn. You know, like I tried that. I'm gonna try it a little different next time.
Right.
But you know,
I like that. Well,
Just
it
avoid-
frames it in a more positive way too. You know?
Just avoid catastrophe. That's the secret.
yeah.
Like,
Well, and the biggest catastrophe
Yeah.
is stopping.
exactly.
Keep momentum, forward momentum all the time. You know, the worst thing we could do is just stop. And you hear it all the time. Like we're on the podcast, you know, saying to, the average amount of podcasts that happen, there's millions and millions and millions of podcasts. The average is 9 episodes. People don't get past shooting 9 episodes. They just stop.
I didn't know that.
So you never know if you're going to be good, especially when you go look at the greats. Well, they've done 1,000, but I stopped at 9. Never had a chance.
It's so true too. Like when people like your stuff and you'll go to their page and they'll have a podcast page and there's like 4 posts on it.
graveyard.
You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's to be, I think, in the top 1% of podcasts, you just need to hit 100 episodes statistically. That's all you have to do.
Where
Hit
we at?
100
Where we
episodes.
at?
Yeah, 100, and then you're automatically in the
Let's go.
top 1%, just because
crazy.
everyone else gives up. Because think about it, 100 episodes is
Yeah.
a lot.
It's a lot,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
one of the-
I want a week, 2 years. You got to be 2 years every week.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have the kid who used to live on my couch when we moved to Miami, one of the 7 people. He's now the number 2 business podcast in the country.
Really?
He posts 7 podcasts a day. Digital Social Hour. He
Yeah.
just rips them.
7 a day?
He's a
He
monster.
goes
I'm actually going
crazy.
on it in
And
February.
are
3rd.
they long format?
Or
or it's-
15 minutes.
Oh, 15
But
minutes.
he
podcast.
has everybody on there.
What's the name of it?
Digital Social Hour.
Digital
by Sean
Social
Kelly.
Hour.
Shout out
Sean
Sean
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Used to sleep on my couch, 7'2" kid, just taking up the whole
What?
thing. My mom was
Wait,
my mom was pissed. The kid's
And why doesn't he play basketball? What
he's okay. He's a little fragile. But yeah, he's
my skills coach said back in the
taking up
day.
the whole man.
He was like,
He
if
was
you're
huge, bro.
over 6'8" and you don't play basketball,
Yeah, he messes. He plays it.
Yeah, because
your whole life, people are just like, you play ball?
No, seriously.
Yeah, but for
play
real,
ball?
everyone,
No.
we all used to make fun of him. We're like, yo, why are you doing this? Like, this is such a waste of your time. What are you doing? He was an e-commerce kid trying to get into podcasting.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, the number 2 business podcast in the country. Like,
Yeah, it
it's
actually is.
crazy.
Does he have like the voice for it?
No,
or-
No, he got nothing for it.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
But just volume. He's got anyone you could think
So it's
of on his
more of
podcast.
just
It's just
him
volume.
committing to it.
He's
It's
all in.
15 minutes. He
I'm
comes up
doing
with
it.
3 good questions and the show's over.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's great.
Yeah.
But he crushes sponsorships out. Like, he has hosts 1,000-person events now. It's cool. It's inspiring. But he could have gave up a lot of times.
Yeah. What's new for all y'all? Like, what's 2025 looking like?
A lot of Founders Club.
A lot of Founders Club.
Yeah?
A lot of Founders Club, yeah.
Exiting Crossnet. He's done with Hush. It's just like fully
So y'all are all in on
all in
Founders
on this.
Yeah.
This is
I mean, we have 60 plus events lined up this year. We're at
60.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And we'll
About 4
probably
a
end up
month.
doing more. And
How many cities are y'all in?
We're
right
in
now?
26 cities right now. We have like our core 6, but Miami, New York,
Toronto.
Vancouver, Austin, LA. Those are like our big ones. But yeah, I think we were really spread out last year, and this year it's like concentrating on local because we could grow so quick.
Yeah.
In Miami, we have like 35, 40 members already. In Toronto, we have like 70. So we just fill up events with just our community now, let alone all the prospects that were here last night.
Yeah.
So
it's becoming like a cheat code, really. Like once you have, like as a founder, once you have access to an incredible group of people. Like even yesterday, there was some like, and I said this not yesterday, but I should have, and Mike brought it up, was I should have reminded people to stay curious, because it's a bold reminder when you sit at a room like that. We all have this thing where we think we're the guy. It's just inevitable, right? Because you work your ass off, we think we're the guy. And like, I should have reminded people, even though they found out inevitably, because one person this morning came to me and he's like, dude, I fucked up yesterday. I was like, what? He's like, I kind of like was talking big, and then and once it started going around the table of who's who, and he's like, holy shit, these are all shooters. And it's like one of those things. Now, like, you now know 30 incredible entrepreneurs that have incredible stories. That the thing we did at the end, the ask, like one guy asked you for a partnership and got it.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, when founders are around founders, we want to help each other because we've all been through shit. And the last thing I want is for you to go through something that I just went through, where I can just get you like the answer, and vice versa. We all want to do that for each other, and to have that community, especially where you live and beyond where you live. For example, Mike was saying earlier today, he was in a car driving all around LA selling hemp parts. You had your people in LA. Imagine you had, boom, hey, LA guys, I'm coming. I'm doing a road tour in LA. Let's do A, B, C, and D. Where should I go? Who should I meet? now he's got all that set up for him.
Shout out to LA too right now, because
Yeah, for real.
what they're going
For
through
real.
is
It's
absolutely
crazy.
crazy.
Apocalyptic.
the
So
most
sad.
horrible thing I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my
So
life.
sad. It is interesting. Even the biggest people in the room last night, like literally the biggest guy in the room last night, he reached out to us to come to the event because he was lacking the community. As big as he was, will sell his company for billions of dollars.
Yeah.
He DMs us to come to the event because he wants to meet local heavy hitters and he can't find them. If he can't find them, how can a normal person
lives
find
here?
them? Lives right in Miami, right in
Wow.
downtown. And I was so surprised. I saw him come through the door from Instagram. I'm like, holy shit,
Chris
he
was
showed up.
tripping. He's like, he's here.
He's here. I was so happy.
Which one is it? I mean, you can tell me off air.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Shooter. But
Shooter.
But
Shooter.
my point is it doesn't matter how big your business
Yeah,
is
yeah.
or not, because every founder, we had dinner for the last 2 years with over 5,000 founders in 16 cities. We'd go around just hosting dinners, paying for them, getting them sponsored, whatever it is, we hosting dinners. And every single person said the same thing. I feel like I'm alone. No one gets it. Mom and dad, think I'm a. My dad would always make jokes. He's like, "You sell any pillows today?"
yeah.
Like he thought I was scamming people. He's like, "You sell any pillows?" Yeah. Like they no one understands, right? And
Oh, it gets worse even when you're being successful. I remember when we crossed, even probably it was the $5 million or $10 million of revenue mark. Everyone around me was like, yeah, you're having problems, Mike. Yeah, your life's so tough.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you don't understand what's going on. I'm like trying to
Exactly.
keep this business so it's surviving and thriving, plus my family, and entrepreneurs all have that in common, right? And entrepreneurs and founders know that of each other and can help each other out, but a lot of people just don't understand.
Yeah, like think about where do you go to become a better entrepreneur, right? You go to the gym to get better and get better looking. You go to a restaurant to go out to a nice meal. If you want to go learn about entrepreneurship, where do you go?
I mean,
There's literally
ultimately,
nowhere.
like from my experience, I go to books and books and books, and what does that do? Isolation. So then you're like with your headphones on, listening to audiobooks, in your car, listening to audiobooks, and then finally you're like, I just want to hug.
But what you're really doing is you're going to other people. Right? When you want the answer, you're going to someone else.
Mass mentorship in a written form.
Right. Exactly.
Mass mentorship, watching other people's videos or hanging out with them,
Yeah.
and hanging out with them, you're going to absorb through the environment and through that social experience.
Well, there's so much more for me, and because we live in this digital world, and speaking of like books and stuff, it's the realness. It's the actual face-to-face conversation, the hugs, the laughs, the stories in real life, like not over Instagram or YouTube or Zoom, or it's like this. Like this is what is so powerful, because we are so connected, but also so disconnected. Even friends. Like, if you notice, like I'm losing friends because they're forgetting to call.
Yeah.
They're like, I see you every day.
Yeah.
I don't need to touch everything. Yeah.
But that's
what's
the
happening,
mentality.
yeah.
The mentality is, oh, you're doing fine because
Exactly.
you posted today. I saw your story with your kid. You're fine.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
you're
don't
good.
realize that like he was sick as a dog. Like all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no, hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I love to do that every now and then, and I love to FaceTime people every now and then.
Yeah, I'm a big FaceTime
They're so
guy, too.
they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, is everything okay?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just calling to say what's up, man.
Yeah. It's just the opportunity to be authentic. It's a relief for a lot of people. And not that we're not authentic online. We are, but we get to choose what we put online. And that's just
the highlight reel.
It's one window. And like people say, well, you don't show everything. Well, first of all, I don't have to show everything. Second of all, that doesn't mean that what I'm showing isn't real. It is real, but it's just one perspective of my life. When you get into a community with people and you build rapport, they get everything. They get the whole connection. And that takes you to layers, deeper and deeper and deep, to the point where, like, for example, when I signed my NDA for my deal, I called Mike and I was like, I'm going to tell him, because I know he's not going to blast me, because like he knows what I'm going through. He gets it. It's not his first rodeo. And he's like, all right, you got to talk to my guy. And like that guy, doesn't do deals of my size, but he did it anyways because Mike told him, like, yo, connect with this guy. And he ended up connecting me to another guy and ended up supporting me on my deal. And like, that only happens in communities. That doesn't happen if I couldn't have made a post on my social media saying, no one say anything, but I'm about to sell my business. You can't do it, right?
Exactly.
So you need the trusted community in order to unlock that unlimited potential for yourself. Otherwise, like you said, you do it alone with the headphones on, and you know, it's not that it doesn't work, but it's hard.
Yeah. It's more important on their worst days too. Like there's a guy in our club right now, has 5 days of runway left, 600 employees, 5 days of runway, needs to find money. So we're connecting him left and right just to like try to solve the problem, right? And normally he sits there by himself.
Yeah, I think he got it actually. He
hope
texted me today. He got it. Yeah,
So,
crazy, incredible company, but like, yeah, just like in a weird.
And it
vibe.
happens.
Weird.
It happens.
It happens to everybody.
What's he gonna
Some
do?
of
He can't
the
tell his
best
boys.
businesses out there.
Of
Like
course.
cash flow is cash flow. Like,
Yep.
You know.
Yeah,
You can
he needs a fix, and he can't go on the internet saying, "Listen,
Get in
You
5
can't
days.
start a
Don't tell me.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
listen, guys,
Yeah.
I made a mistake."
There's not OnlyFans is not an option.
Yeah, but you know, and then it takes another founder to be like, you know what, I get it.
Yeah.
So let
I
me
got
help
you.
you out because I totally get it. You know, and that's the superpower.
There was a guy that's in the CPG beverage business that stayed after and just talked to me last night, and it was just nice to hear like what he's going through because I know exactly what he's going through, and just you could tell he just wanted just to tell someone.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell.
Somebody
It was
listen to
like I
me.
felt like the Catholic priest. You know, like he
but
was
like
just
someone who
telling.
gets it.
Yeah.
That's
Someone
different.
who
Right.
gets it.
Because he's
Right.
told everyone probably.
Right.
They're just
And
like,
they're probably like, yeah, whatever.
Just be grateful, man.
Yeah.
People are buying your stuff. You
Don't
know.
you love that shit?
I used to tell people all the
Yeah.
time, like the shipment's not coming fast enough. My customer are gonna hate me. It's like, dude, just you have customers. I'm like, no, you don't get it.
No.
You know, it's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, like, and this. You were able to even just validate the way he was feeling and to let him to know in that moment that although it is a unique situation, it's not.
Right.
And that just because you got through it, and he'll get through it too. And that's like, you know, people say, if you went back to when you're 20 years old, what would you tell yourself? Actually, that's a good question. I won't say my answer then. What would you tell yourself? If you would go back to 20 years old, Manning, if you can go back and say one thing to that person.
A lot of people like ask me that question. You know, this is the old, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah.
And stuff. And I mean, I always say my first thing to that is that I am the person I am because of the decisions and the experiences that I had. So it is kind of hard to say because I know it now because of my experiences. So it's easy to say that. And I don't know if I'd be the person I am today if I didn't go through what I did. So if I told that 20-year-old what I know now, maybe he wouldn't become the person that I am.
But if you were to only be able to say one thing, not lay out the playbook.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
cheating. You get like a whisper. You know, you get to like pop in, give a quick like one line, and then you're out.
Read. Get into reading earlier. I got into reading late, and I probably accelerated my career, my relationships, everything because I started like diving into people that were way more successful than me. And I get emotional about it because if I would have done that earlier, then imagine I'd probably be a billionaire right now, you know? Or I could have impacted people in a better way, and I could have like some relationships that I lost, maybe I would have had them because I would have read that book that would have helped me handle that situation, you know? So definitely, like if you're out there,
like that.
start
I love
reading
that.
now, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that's
I don't know where
great.
the hell the emotion came from. But
No,
happens when
but
there's a
Mark
mic
Twain.
in it.
no, but that's real.
That's good.
That's real.
I would say we were talking today, having the hard conversations. I feel like for me, I just always put those off, and they eventually come up. They always come up eventually. It's like living with the stress. I have one hard conversation I have to have right now. It's like, why am I putting it off? Why am I putting it
Right.
off? And it's pointless. It's gonna happen. You got to do it. Ripping off the
Conflict,
Band-Aid.
man.
Ripping off the Band-Aid. Conflict's good.
Conflict is
Conflict
good. There's
is
so
good.
many people. I had a really close guy just recently sitting right there just break down that he avoids conflict and he hates confrontation.
It comes back.
I don't think anyone likes confrontation.
It comes back,
But it comes
twofold,
back.
threefold, tenfold.
Well, but I would say I would frame it though.
Yeah.
I think that maybe not liking it, but knowing that the confrontation and getting through it is what makes you better. Like because like, have you ever read The Advantage?
No.
So it's Patrick Lencioni's book on like kind of a company culture, and it talks about like don't have the water cooler moments where you're everybody's like talking about
yeah.
each
I've heard
other
about
and
this.
not going to the person, And I think that in those moments is when you get through it, and it's like it's so refreshing to just tell somebody how you feel, man.
Yeah.
Like if someone, and it could be the littlest thing. Like you ever, you have like these pet peeves, like with your friends or partners.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like they're doing that all the time. It drives you freaking nuts. tell them.
Yeah.
Maybe they could be instead of it driving you crazy.
Yes.
And then you don't want to hang out with a person. You might literally end a relationship because of something that maybe they would be willing to change for you. But you didn't speak up.
I love that. Mike, or a 20-year-old version.
Oh, yeah. Don't take myself too seriously because everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's mine.
Is it?
Mine was always just go back and say it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's it. And I still do that to myself. Like ever since I've like said that's what I would say to myself. Even when it was a tough time or a tough conversation or going into a tough conversation, like it's coming, you get like that feeling in your stomach. I just kind of say like it's gonna be all right. Because it always is. It always is. At least so far. As long as I don't die.
Because the reality is, and have you read the book The Power of Now?
Power
I
of
have.
now.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Put it on your so put it on your list now. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because there is no yesterday and there is no future. And when we start worrying, we're thinking about the future, but it's never like that. There's only now. And so if in the now moment, if you're not only executing, but you tell yourself it's going to be okay, you better believe the next moment it's going to be okay. Even if it's hard, it's still not like it's never as bad as the fear that we have in our mind. It isn't, you know?
Yeah, I always framed it as like there's no sense to worry. Like, why am I worrying?
Worrying is praying for things that we don't want.
Exactly.
You ever heard that? Yeah. Never heard that? Yeah, you're manifesting the worst of it because you're focused on it. You know?
Yeah.
And most of the time, like you said, it never happens as bad as you think that it could happen. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
My old therapist would say, if you had a hard conversation and you feel a massive like sigh of relief after, you had it too late. You should say you had it too late. You should feel a little sense of relief and keep it moving. But if it's a massive like, a weight off your shoulders, she said, much too late.
Yeah, you had emotional buildup.
You had much too late.
Yeah.
And that's like, so I always try to say like, am I going to have like a lot of relief or a little relief? If you're a little relief, I'll do it now because I can foresee like that's going to be a big conversation down the road. Let's just do it now. And it's important to get ahead of it because, and as founders and entrepreneurs, it's almost your job to have hard conversations. All day I'm having hard conversations. Like my text hard conversations.
You're holding people accountable constantly. You're
constantly
reminding people constantly.
It's very mature for a 29-year-old. But you're almost 30. You're almost 30.
Hey, 30 on Monday.
Come on. Dirty 30. You're a baby. It's a baby. Literally.
100%.
You have a lot of maturity though for your age. So.
Yeah.
It's because I think I started business young. I didn't do the school route.
Yeah.
Which part of me regrets. I feel like it would have been a good time, but my parents didn't have money and I didn't want to pay for it, so that didn't pan out. So like
You get a 200.
You always go back.
I love it. Yeah, I think the same thing because I dropped out of school at 14. I'm like, I wish I would have went to school because that would have been a good time.
Party.
Like,
Yeah, sometimes like I bet that Lucas guy.
There's a movie right where like the old guy goes back.
He goes.
to school.
I would like.
I did.
Yeah?
No, I did.
You went back?
Yeah. Well, I went to. Yeah, I got my 3 years ago. I went back and got my 1-year certificate for my director certification because I'm a governance expert, and we had one of my portfolio companies. We took it public. And I was the chairman of the board of the public company, and I know governance well and board leadership well, but I was like, well, I think I should go. And I went back to university, and I didn't have any of the prerequisites you didn't need for this course, but a year there, and I graduated, so I got myself a cap and gown.
I
did. Ordered on Amazon. Put a social post out. My still to this day the most viral social post. I like after 30 years of dropping out, I went back to school.
That's awesome.
That's great.
People were stoked for me. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
What's
I
that
just
movie
no
that everybody
school.
goes,
I wish
Will
I did.
Ferrell movie that everybody goes back to school.
Oh, shit.
It's funny as
Yeah,
shit.
I know what you're talking
They
about.
throw the frat party, you know.
Yeah.
I would die to just give me one frat party. Let me be the
right?
guy.
I never had that.
Let me be the
Founders
guy.
frat party.
Founders
Yeah,
frat.
honestly, we should.
Coming to ASU.
That's a frat guy. You know, I missed it. But yeah, I feel like I just been in it. You know, like when I was, 19, I started a juice business, and like it was kind of like a joke, not a joke, but it was like I was making like $2-3K a month. And then like halfway through it, my dad like has a stroke. There's no family income now, and it's like, holy shit, this like we need to save the family. And we were doing 20-hour shifts. I still got my toothbrush in the back of the first store. We had a blow up mattress. Me and my brothers rotating 20 hours sleeping, opening juicing at night, smoothies. Like, and that was at 18 years old. You know, most 18-year-olds are like, what college did you get into? And I'm like, saving my family, you know? Like, so I was forced.
That makes you grow up really fast.
Yeah, you were forced to grow up. I didn't have, I mean, I think you always have a choice, but I didn't see another way out, you know? Neither did my brother. My brother's playing professional hockey. He quit to come back and do this juice thing with us because, like, it was literally like, bro, like, we're going to be on the street, you know? Like, we opened our first store with no cash register and no credit card machine. You had to bring perfect cash. I had a Ziploc bag. Obviously, we didn't know this. None of us worked in a restaurant. This is. I wish I had a video of this. You'd come into the store. We'd have juices and like whatever smoothies and stuff. Let's say you have a $20 bill because we didn't accept anything else, and your total was like $11. We didn't have a cash register, so I'd look at you and be like, "Why don't you take another juice?" Like, we had to have exact change. That's how crazy it was.
But I used to do that early on in
That's
the
a good
gym
upsell.
business.
Yeah,
Looking
we
back,
got no
it was
change.
genius. Looking back, it was genius.
I used to do the same crap in the because they would like pull out a 20 and they were just trying to buy a water for $2,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "You want 5?"
You know, the case is 25, and why don't you
Or
take it
10,
for 20?
actually.
Yeah,
My math
and
is wrong.
that's what it was. You know,
Yeah.
you just figure it out. You burn the boats. We've all heard. I played hockey for a while. That was like any playoff game. Coach was like, "We don't come back in this room unless we win. Otherwise, get dressed and unchanged in your car and go home." You know, and it was like that mentality. It's like there's only one way through this, and you grow up really quick. Entrepreneurship ages you. I aged like in dog years, you know, like it was really bad. I was 35 pounds less than I am right now. I was my hairline was in the back of my head.
35 pounds less than you are now. That's like a
35
stick.
pounds.
Yeah, that's what he
I was
was. He
100.
was. He
I
was
was
like,
100.
I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm 185 now. I was like 150 pounds.
Wow.
155. It was my my hairline was in the back of my head.
You wouldn't have been
was-
sitting here at that time saying, "You look like you got it. You're the whole package.
Yeah.
You're feeling
No,
good.
no.
You're
He's
looking
come a long way.
Yeah, you're looking like you're ragged."
Dude, I was playing hockey at 150. It's dangerous. I don't know how I didn't get injured. And I mean, I didn't know any better.
Right.
You know, so you learn the hard way in your youth. So now it's like looking back, you know, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, 29, I celebrated 10-year anniversary of my first business. It's kind of crazy.
That's wild.
So yeah, the age and dog years. Now I'm, you know, me and Fata were on the Browns gas.
Yeah, gas. We got
We're,
a little ozone therapy. And
Plasma.
eat good,
Yeah,
have
we're-
ozone.
Now we're
I do-
aging
I
like
do.
wine.
Let's talk a little bit of longevity here. 'Cause I like to hear
Okay,
everybody's
yeah.
like, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
47. You know, feel
I got
like I'm 25.
I got a year and a half on
All
you.
right. So what's your go-to like
The-
routine for
Oh yeah,
longevity?
Yeah. My body
right now?
stack.
Oh, I like that.
Your what's
The
My
body,
body
stack.
stack.
body stack?
Yeah.
And what is that?
Well, you know your supplement stack.
Okay,
or,
all right,
so
all
the
right.
body stack is your whole routine. But
Okay.
you know, obviously, sleep now. You know, sleep number one, dialed in, and hydration and nutrition. But you know, my other things to keep me well besides working out, like red light therapy, sauna, cold plunge, and then biggest one for me 4 years ago, I discovered the Fountain of Youth and I started doing IV ozone therapy.
Okay, yeah.
And reversed so many things that were going wrong with my body. And so I do that monthly with my naturopath. But I've been measuring my blood and all my biometrics and improving myself over the since I hit 40. I was like, I better start, you know, like really working it. And it's now, but it was like one healthy habit stack after another, and now it's like very sustainable.
With the ozone, do you just do the one pass, or have you ever done the 10 pass?
No, it's 10
My
pass.
man.
Yeah. But we do.
You do 10 pass too.
But we probably do 14 or 15 on average is regular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's by you know, a time session with my naturopath, and I'm a good bleeder because my blood's, you know, good. And I also donate blood once a quarter. You know, it's a good. Highly encourage people to do that, unless you have an issue where you can't. But the best way to like remove microplastics from your body that we're all accumulating, unfortunately, and
Give it away.
iron and ferritin out of your liver and stuff. And I just did the full body MRI scan because I'm going to turn 50 next year, and I thought I just want to make sure that the body's working all well. There's no issues that you can get in front of if there is. And yeah, I'm going to publish my full body stack. There's a
like that,
There's a LinkedIn post in the pipeline.
Do you do
for sure.
any peptides or anything like that?
I haven't done peptides. No.
Okay.
No. What about you? You got the peptide? Yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm
You're,
like
you're
a
on some
walking,
good stuff.
I'm like a walking science project. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Take a lot of peptides.
Yeah?
And I was doing peptides before peptides. I was like ordering them online, you know, the black market, like
Holy
before My osteopath, I was telling him about peptides, and now I get them from him, through a lab, but I mean a pharmacy. But red light therapy, I've got it in my closet.
Yeah.
The Beamer, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Beamer.
No.
So I do the Beamer 8 minutes a day.
What's the
I
Beamer?
got Tom Brady got me on that, but it's basically like, so if we took our micro veins, so not the ones like you can see, but the ones, the teeny little veins in your body, if you spread them out, they would spread out to 4 football fields. That's like how many microveins are in your body, which I think is fascinating. Yeah. But if they're not functioning properly, then we're not functioning properly. So the Beamer, like, it's electromagnetic. It's kind of like PMF a little bit, but it's a different version, and it helps your.
It's kind of crazy that all we are is tubes.
Yeah.
And
No, you're right.
enough tubes to go around the Earth 5 times is what's made up in the body, but it's all is tubes. If your
And they've
tubes
gotta
aren't,
be
if your tubes aren't
circulating
working,
properly.
You're done.
you're done. You know,
Right.
And like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I gotta get on the plasma, but I mean,
where do you do it in Miami? Those
So I do it at the Osteopathic Center. Shout out Dr. Goddard.
Yeah. All right.
And
Check it out.
Dr.
Let's go.
Jesse.
Let's go.
But they're phenomenal. They do.
How long have you been doing that for? And how often do you do the ozone?
I haven't been doing it as often as I would like. But anytime I get sick, I go straight there.
Yeah.
Or if I even feel bad, I go straight there.
Oh, yeah.
So high dose vitamin C, I do sometimes. NAD, IVs, I do. UBI, ozone. So have you done the UBI and the ozone together? So it's like, so they take two things of your blood out, and they put it in the IV. Then they add the ozone. I do double ozone when I do this one. Then they run it through ultraviolet light.
Oh yeah,
And then
mine
they-
is. No, sorry, it is. Yeah, so
Okay.
ultraviolet. Like,
I
it
think
is-
you have
it is-
to do that. No, it's
No, it just knocks down.
you don't have to.
No,
It's
it just
just
knocks
extra.
down
Yeah.
bacteria and virus
Yeah.
and
okay, good.
parasites in your blood. It like takes it all down, so that your liver could just be like, thank you.
So they call it like UBI ozone.
Yeah, okay.
is
That's
so-
what mine is. That's what I
Okay,
do.
all right.
So I'm on like 50 sessions deep after
Oh,
4
nice.
years every month.
And I really wanna get
I'll do it for the
into-
rest of my life.
I really want to get into the hyperbaric chamber stuff.
I want to buy one for my house.
wanna-
I'm surprised
but
you don't
no,
have
no,
one
like,
here
How
in
do you
the
not
office.
have one? Like,
No,
come
no,
on, man.
you can't get. Don't get the blow up though.
No,
I know,
hell
my-
no. That's
You got to
like-
go
you
real
gotta
deal,
get the
Kevin
hard.
O'Neill. But
Yeah,
You gotta get the one that Steve Aoki just got.
You
You seen that
need a
shit?
permit. You need a permit from the
well,
city.
it's very dangerous.
No, you need a permit.
You mess
You
it
can
up.
blow up. You can like
blow it up,
you can
buddy.
nuclear bomb your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
The hard
good.
shell ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the most important is definitely hydration. Like, I got this Brown's gas machine.
Yeah.
I've been gassing.
Yeah,
months. It's
that's
crazy.
my. Have you? done
Wait, what
Brown's
machine?
gas? Yeah, Manny's gonna be into this.
Come over. I'll
Yeah.
get you gassed up.
Yeah.
It's you're familiar with hydrogen gas for
Yes,
sure, right? People
right.
breathe that in. Brown's gas is essentially 100 times the effectiveness of hydrogen gas, and the equivalent would be
Brown's gas?
it's called Brown's gas.
Brown's gas.
It's essentially it's an invention by George Wiseman, but it's essentially in simple terms, it gives you the ability to 100% hydrate your body. So water, even mineralized or hydrogenated water or whatever, can only hydrate your body up to like usually about 10 to 15%. It's very difficult for water to hydrate you. In fact, most water, as you know, can actually dehydrate you. Right? Because it's missing things depending on the ppms. So it does two things. One is you breathe it in. So just 10 minutes, get 100% hydration. Most humans are walking around dehydrated. They have no idea what it feels like to be fully hydrated. The second part is our cells. Our cells are majority just water and air. So you're breathing it in, you put the nose tubes in, you're breathing in the gas 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll do like 4 hours while I'm at the computer, just breathe in the gas. And then it also at the same time electrolyzes my water. So I put in distilled water and it electrolyzes it with the Brown's gas. You drink that as well. The full body hydration is insane. And I've noticed it, to be honest. My energy, I'm always very high energy, so it's tough to attribute, like, was it the coffee, was it the Brown's gas?
Right.
But my skin, like I used to have like dry skin. My skin is like, just, it feels almost like thicker.
soft.
Yeah, super soft, but it feels thicker. I'm very sensitive with my hair. I feel it in my hair for sure. With like I'm feeling my hair all the time.
And is it a machine? Like just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like,
literally
like
a
tank.
tank?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a tank. It produces this gas.
I'm so surprised my osteopath doesn't have this.
Right.
I'm gonna
I
get
was-
on to
yeah.
him about
I'll
it.
send you the pod if you listen to it. It's,
All right.
it's changed everything. This guy is
definitely.
like cured like Lyme's disease. Like it's just the gas has
That's
been
interesting.
Has been insane. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can cure most things in your body through the air that you breathe.
Wow.
Which is a big thing also in terms of the air filtration system in your home, especially in your bedroom because you spend the majority of your time there, at least when you're sleeping. most people's air, specifically in Miami, actually, because it's very moist air and it's tough to fight the mold because it just exists. It's everywhere.
Right.
To clean the air out. So I got these like HEPA grade filters, these Jasper air filters. Dude, it cleans the entire air of the room every 8 minutes. So every 8 minutes I get fresh air.
HEPA.
Yeah, they're HEPA grade filters. I put them in like
Jasper is the brand.
Okay.
yeah,
Good
you
brand.
put them in like they have them in all the like when there's a surgery going on, they'll have them in the room, the surgery rooms. So
You have
like,
the little footnotes, Amber, and all this
Yeah,
stuff. So.
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, but I
Yeah.
would say like again, you can go off the wall with stuff, but at the end of the day, if you get your sleep, your hydration, and your nutrition like as dialed in as you can, that's
And you sweat
that's
every
the big
day.
fight.
Yep.
Sweat every day.
Sweat.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
Sauna
sauna.
is number one.
Yeah,
number
the
one,
only thing, like George Wiseman will say this himself. He said the only thing, he does everything. He's got like he said
George
the
Wiseman?
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said the only thing that he would put above Brown's gas is a sauna.
Yeah.
He's like, if you took away all my shit,
So
Don't take my
I want
sauna
to talk about
away.
sauna real fast
Yeah.
because there's just so much freaking like contradicting like protocols. What is y'all's go-to protocol?
like for my sesh,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to muscle out. Like, I mean, it depends. Like today we did a half hour. It was great. I feel good.
Yeah.
I did a half hour
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I try to do 30 minutes.
I have a infrared sauna and a Finnish sauna, and so it depends. I mix it up, but like
Okay.
in the Finnish sauna, I like 200 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. I'm cooked, and
Right.
then I'll go in the cold plunge for 2 minutes at 40. And then if I'm a normal day where I'm training and that's the end of it, I'll do it once. But on a day off or I'm healing, I'll do 2 or 3 rotations in that.
Okay.
And then the infrared sauna, I just like going in there probably once or twice a week, but I go in for like 45 minutes, and it's not super hot, but
Right.
like you sweat. Like
yeah.
Drip.
Cooks you from the
I
inside.
tell people because some people think this is weird, but I've lived this. I've been in the sauna for 25 years. Like you should not smell. When you sweat, you should not
Yeah.
smell.
Yeah.
If you
You should
if you
not
if
smell.
you if you smell when you sweat, your rag is like gross and dirty. What you need to do is wet it and wring it out. Wet it, wring it out. And the best way to do that is sauna. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And so I that's how I gauge myself is like, and the infrared really helps with that too.
I'm a big social sauna guy.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not gonna lie.
This
I don't
morning
like
was
the
like
sauna
that.
alone.
I was in there this morning. There was like 15 people in there. And they were
yeah.
all asking me every
No.
question under the sun. But I will say it makes the time go
It does- it
flying
goes
by.
quicker, yeah, for sure.
But
That's why
sometimes I like to
I like my
be
peace.
like
I put my
shut
podcast
up.
on.
Like,
Easy.
20
You're
minutes.
like a solo
I
sauna.
like just
like,
sitting
give me the
peace.
people. Let's get in the sauna.
Yeah.
If I could do an hour, I would love that. A couple sessions,
so
15,
you like
20 minutes.
Who is it? Is it Jesse? That's
Yeah,
that has the
yeah,
largest
yeah.
sauna in the world.
Oh, the
Running Man,
does
yeah,
that.
that's
Right,
Yeah.
man. It's like what? How many people can fit in there? It's crazy.
Couple hundred.
It's
Yeah, there's a couple
crazy.
hundred.
It's like a room. It's
Yeah.
it's
And they
like-
have like a
It
DJ
has-
in there.
It has,
Yeah.
it has 12 sauna heaters in there, wood burning stoves. in
Wood
there.
burning,
Yeah.
the wood burning is unreal.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
hot.
I love social saunas. I think it's a good time.
We just made a custom sauna. It's coming next
We made
2 weeks.
for our house. I fit like 6 to 8 people because I just know I know people are gonna want to get in the sauna.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the
Yeah.
music on in there.
Yeah.
get it going a little bit, get the energy up, and get the cultures. Get in there after. Like it's just that whole you feel amazing after. But I think the last thing I say on the saunas is and again I learned this from George Wiseman. I was telling you this podcast. You should listen to it. He talks all about like Easy Gel, which is essentially like this gel in our veins that actually store and move around the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 best ways to replenish your Easy Gel is through sauna and the Brown's gas. So you
Yeah,
can actually stack that.
improving like sauna now. You raise your VO2 max just being
Yeah,
in the
I've
sauna,
heard
right?
that, exactly.
And your growth hormone and
Yeah.
like a number of things just by going in the
great
sauna
for men.
after your workouts and like.
And it's no
You
impact.
mouth tape?
You know what I mean?
No, it's spa. It's
Right.
like, it's
But I mean, it's like
it-
a workout without impact.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
so.
You should tell them about the mouth tape.
Oh,
yeah,
do you
last
take?
night
Do you
were
breathe
telling
through your
us.
mouth or
Yeah, so
you breathe through your mouth?
Probably, yeah. I mean, but
tape-
I am conscious of it. So,
Tape your mouth,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So 18 months ago, I started taping my mouth, and
What happened?
Be careful.
no, I mean we're on a podcast, but this is like you got men's health. So 18 months ago, I started taping my mouth, and for 2-3 days it was weird, right? Because I wasn't sure that I could breathe that much through my nose, and I
Yeah.
thought, am I getting enough? But one of the things about breathing your nose is nitric oxide. You better production of nitric oxide,
Right.
which dilates your everything, right? And so I started breathing better through my nose 3rd or 4th day in. 4 or 5 days in, my nocturnal erections are through the roof. Just telling it like it is. I'm telling it like it is. Never had any problems with my sexual health, but after 4 or 5 days of taping my mouth at night, nocturnal erections through the roof. Like I'm talking about hours
The
of
carnivore
nocturnal.
diet does that to you too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just letting you know.
He does both.
Yeah, hours through the night.
So I've done
And-
the hostage tape.
and so now it's been 18 months. Well, I do my blood work every 6 months. I'm going down to every 4 months. Well, in the last year, my testosterone increased 25% naturally.
from breathing from the
and my naturopath says, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, the biggest thing is I'm taping my mouth. But listen, since I'm taping my mouth, like the nocturnal erections are there. It's awkward. It wakes me up. I have to shift gears before I go back to sleep. And like,
Shift gears.
it happens. It's a natural thing for guys. What are you gonna do? You know, men, we could talk. We could talk about this. You know,
It's true. I started doing it like 3 weeks. And I said, Saloon, 3 weeks. I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
It's
and
crazy.
so and like many people suffer. Like
I gotta break
men.
out the
I got the
hostage
Scotch
tape.
tape tonight.
So I have like a year's supply of
Well,
hostage
see,
Scotch
and
tape.
there's so many different brands, right?
Yeah.
And I even convinced Aaron because the 3M is the leader. 3M Micropore Tape Medical Tape is the leader in the industry, like 100 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Get the roll. You could rip off as much as you want. It sticks and there's no issue, and it peels off
great.
and no issue. And so people are making better mouse traps. They say from like having and I know all the brands that are doing it because I think more people that are. Breathing through their nose, the better. But simple roll of 3M tape, and you can't go wrong. You know.
You just rip off a piece, you shut it down.
Just
Wrap
it
Good
around
night,
your
Jim.
head.
I put on a nose strip just so I can open my nose more and
Yeah.
give it more air. But that combo for me is unbelievable. I've noticed huge difference.
huge erections.
Huge difference.
Huge.
No, and this is actually it's becoming talked about more because Brian Johnston, right, is like is all the rage or Netflix special now and stuff, and he's been open to say because if you research as a 48-year-old man, your nocturnal erection should be more than 2 hours a night. But a lot of guys don't, and they don't at all, and that's just a sign that there's something wrong with your body. And if
But
it's,
you're supposed to have a boner for
hours?
2 hours.
Yeah,
because
That's not
every
more, yeah.
every
Sometimes
sleep
at 5 hours.
What about 30-year-olds?
every sleep cycle you could go and measure. You can go and measure it. It's more than
I'll
that.
go measure.
No, you get
No,
there's a device.
Yeah, there's a device to measure because people
Yeah.
have problems with this. But every sleep cycle, you go through deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep,
Right.
and then it repeats. Right through your light and REM sleep cycles, men are erect because you're so much blood flow is going. That's when you're producing your testosterone. Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
it's just
Interesting.
facts.
It makes
Jack,
It's
you know?
very
So
important. And
if-
Brian Johnson's talking about he's measuring his quality of sleep, and one of the main factors is his nocturnal erection.
Right.
It's very important.
Yeah, and we're saying it on the podcast. I put it out there. Like I'll go up against Brian on the
yeah.
health
shout
and
out.
the nocturnal erection. So Brian Johnson, bring it on. You want to do a little measurement? You want to do a measurement
have a
game?
hard
I've been
Toe to toe.
been working on my health for this is my 30th year anniversary, Manny, of starting my health quest. When I was 18 and I was 300. This is the 30th year of being on the health journey. So I'm celebrating all year long.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I say when I wake up, I have to do the where you have to do like a
Yeah,
like a
you gotta
plank.
plank.
The man stand.
The man stand.
Yeah, the man stand.
plank
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah.
He's got to play. Yeah, so you got to get a urinal.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end with this question because I've been doing this at most of my podcasts. So, if there was, it's kind of hard to go after the erection thing. But, if you had one thing that you wish people knew about you that they don't, what would it be?
If you had one thing, you're
really-
cooking
yeah.
something. I can tell you're cooking.
Really just want to make a difference. Like I want to I don't want somebody else to be in a position that my father was when I grew up. I don't want to see somebody that I know and I love and I care about to go to the end of their life and not actually at least try. Because I feel like we'd have regrets with the Founders Club if we actually didn't start doing this. But the feeling of guilt and regret and shame of not actually going for your dreams, and it doesn't have to be a financial dream. It could be anything. Like, fuck, I've been trying to give up chocolate for 3 years now. Like, I'm gonna give it up eventually. But like,
Why?
I'm addicted. But like, it's bad.
Go midday squares.
It's
midday
for
squares.
real. But
Go
I
lay
think-
down on the couch. We'll talk about it.
I think just the hunger for wanting to help people, there's no better feeling than getting a text or a call from somebody being like, oh, that connection you made actually just really helps me. And so if I could help people just take one step further, and we can do that for thousands of people, that's a life worth meeting.
Yeah, the one thing for me is, the importance of living your purpose and passion in life. I was very fortunate that I had the best single mom in the world, and through my business journey, I got to hire her. She's got to see all my success. I retired her when we sold the business, and I took her out to brunch and said, what are you going to do, Mom? She said, in 42 years that I've worked as a single mom, I haven't taken more than 2 weeks off. And so I'm going to take 3 weeks to decide what I'm going to do. And on the 21st day, she passed away. Oh. And so, I'm not talking about the sad moment of it. It was sad. But the realization was that, she fulfilled her mission, and then she went on. Mm-hmm. And so don't fulfill your mission. What's the next purpose? What's your passion? What's your purpose? Why are you here? Keep focused on that. That's the number one thing that we can all do.
Wow. I love that.
How do I follow that?
Yes, seriously. Jeez. Mic drop.
You should have went last. I would say that don't ever let anything I say or do come off or be perceived as that I figured it out, because I'm very much just figuring it out as I go. And I feel like that's a lifelong journey. I feel like I God willing, I'll be 98 and figuring it out. I saw actually this 91-year-old. I saw a video. He lost his house in the fire, and his whole family. Very, very sad story. But he was like, "Yeah, I guess we'll just rebuild. Keep it going." He's like, "We're gonna rebuild." It's he's like, "I'm 91, but we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna rebuild. We're gonna keep it going." And in my head, I was like, as sad as that is to see a man lose it all at 91, but the idea of he was just yeah, we're gonna keep building,
right?
And we'll build it back, and we'll make new memories. And it's that is to me what I want people to know, that at any given moment, if you think Aaron figured it out, know that I haven't, and I don't plan on ever really figuring it out. I just plan on keep figuring out the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And a lot of the people that I've looked up to and continue to look up to, I noticed that's secretly what I admire about them, that they're still in it. They're in the trenches. They're still figuring it out, and that's the beauty of the life. That's the best day ever. I know Mike talks about that. It's my best day ever is doing what I want to do, doing it with the people I love, and then the challenges that come with it.
Right.
Otherwise, what are you gonna do? Go to the beach? How many days can you go to the beach and tan? I mean, unless you're selling crossnets, but how many can you do? It's hard.
It's actually sad. I live in Miami and I never go to the beach. It's always
right.
like that.
Unless there's a reason, or it's a part of the mission, or promoting. There's energy there, right? But at the end of the day, it's for me, what's the best vacation? The truth is, it's probably not on a fancy trip by myself. It's probably on a trip with my friends or my family. Exactly. We're doing good things. That could be anywhere, and that's what I want to always be doing. But it's hard to do. You got to figure it out, and that's the journey.
Love it. Well, gentlemen,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Let's go, baby.
And let's build this founders thing to the moon. So
I think what y'all are doing is
cheers
on that one.
All
Cheers.
in, never lose.
Cheers.
Wait, give me not
the mini.
Give me the pound, not the pounder.
That's the pit.
The putt.
2 days off, gentlemen. Let's go.